May 15th, 2026. 3 albums, 43 songs, 2.5 hours of music, all dropped at midnight. No announcement, no warning. Just Drake, back, loud, and with a list. Iceman, Habibti, Maid of Honor. The streaming numbers moved instantly. Spotify records shattered before sunrise, and the internet did what the internet always does when Drake shows up. It split right down the middle. Half the world said, "Welcome back." The other half said it was too little, too late. So which one is it? To answer that, you have to go back, way back, because this story didn't start in 2026. It started with a verse, October 2023. J. Cole jumps on Drake's track, First Person Shooter, and drops a reference to a so-called Big Three in hip-hop, himself, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar. Cole meant it as a celebration, a nod to the generation's dominant voices standing tall together. Kendrick Lamar heard it differently. He filed it away. And then, in March 2024, he came to collect. On Future and Metro Boomin's album, We Don't Trust You, Kendrick featured on a track called Like That. One verse, one message. The Big Three didn't exist. The Big Three, it's just Big Me. The war was officially declared, and what followed over the next 6 weeks became the most explosive rap battle in a generation. A back and forth so vicious and so public that it stopped being just about music and started being about reputation, legacy, and character. Drake responded with push-ups, mocking Kendrick's height and his credibility. Kendrick came back with Euphoria, a 6-minute dismantling that accused Drake of being a culture vulture who hired ghostwriters. Drake fired Family Matters, accusing Kendrick of domestic abuse and fake activism. And then Kendrick, the same night, dropped the track that would define the entire era, Not Like Us. DJ Mustard production, West Coast Energy, and a line that would follow Drake for the next 2 years, calling him a certified pedophile, a direct hit on his album title Certified Lover Boy, and an accusation that, regardless of whether anyone believed it literally, became a meme, a chant, and eventually an award-winning song. Not Like Us went straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It didn't stop there. In September 2024, Kendrick was announced as the headlining act for Super Bowl 59. His announcement came with a quote, "You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos." That was read by everyone as a shot at Drake, who had been online promising he'd come back and win round 2 of the battle. The symbolism was impossible to miss. Then came the Grammys, February 2025. Kendrick walked into the ceremony wearing a Canadian tuxedo, denim top, denim pants, head to toe. Canada is where Drake is from. The cameras caught the outfit, the crowd caught the joke, and Kendrick walked away with 5 Grammy Awards for Not Like Us alone, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year, and making it the first diss track in Grammy history to win at that level. The audience, packed with celebrities, sang along as the song played. Drake did not attend. 1 week later, in the Super Bowl, Caesars Superdome, New Orleans. 133.5 million viewers across all platforms. Kendrick took the stage and performed Not Like Us live, grinning through every word. He teased the crowd first, starting the opening notes, then cutting himself off with a comment about people who like to sue, a clear reference to Drake's ongoing legal actions. And then he performed the whole thing, front to back, while Serena Williams, at whom Drake had been romantically linked to years earlier, joined him on the field to dance. The message was complete. The victory lap was done. And Drake, he was in court. He had filed an 81-page lawsuit against his own record label, Universal Music Group, claiming they defamed him by promoting Not Like Us and artificially inflating its streaming numbers. UMG's response, filed in court, stated plainly that Drake had lost a rap battle that he provoked and was suing in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. In October 2025, a federal judge dismissed the defamation case entirely, ruling that the accusations made in a rap battle, even serious ones, would not be taken by a reasonable listener as verified fact. Drake's own label, his own courtroom, and the entire music press had all reached the same conclusion. He lost. So what do when the culture buries you, the court side against you, and the biggest stage in American entertainment is used to publicly humiliate you in front of 100 million people? Apparently, you build a publicity machine out of ice and drop 3 albums in a single night. The rollout for Iceman was pure theater. Drake installed a massive block of ice on a street in downtown Toronto with the album's release date frozen inside it. He live-streamed himself driving an Iceman-branded truck through the city, gathering crowds, eventually arriving at a warehouse to watch old videos of himself. He ran 4 episodes of a YouTube livestream series that drew hundreds of thousands of concurrent viewers. Then, on the final episode, he announced that it wouldn't just be Iceman dropping at midnight. Habibti and Maid of Honor were coming too. 3 albums, one night. The internet lost its mind. Iceman is the rap album. 18 tracks built for war, featuring Future, 21 Savage, and enough bars aimed at specific targets to fuel a week of YouTube breakdowns. Maid of Honor is the summer record. House music meets dancehall, Central C and PopCon featured, built for clubs and festival sets. Habibti is the R&B project, emotionally driven, featuring Sexy I Red and Party Next Door. Together they run 43 tracks in 2.5 hours, a complete Drake experience for better and for worse. And then there's the list. Because Drake came back with receipts and grudges in equal measure. Kendrick gets the most attention across Iceman, revisited on multiple tracks. On Dust, Drake raps that he doesn't remember a word of Kendrick's raps, a direct challenge to the cultural weight critics have assigned to Lamar's catalog. On Make Them Remember, a track that leaked ahead of release under the working title 1 a.m. in Albany, Drake brings in LeBron James, whose public support of Kendrick during the beef had clearly been noted. The song also targets Kendrick directly on the streaming manipulation claims, with Drake appearing to argue that 100 million of Lamar's Not Like Us streams were fraudulent bots. A claim tied to his ongoing legal case against UMG J. Cole gets what might be the most personal moment on the album. Without naming him directly, Drake raps, "I love you 'cause of the history, but if we bein' real, I could never forgive you." A reference to Cole's decision to publicly back out of the beef midway through, issuing an apology and stepping away while Drake was still in the firefight. Cole's absence at the worst moment clearly left a mark. Drake uses Iceman to formally retire the idea of a Big Three, the concept that started the whole thing, and does so bitterly. A.I.P. Rocky, who released his own diss track against Drake in January 2026 titled Don't Be Dumb, gets hit on Burning Bridges and Firm Friends. DJ Khaled is called out on Make Them Pay for going quiet during the beef, going halal as Drake puts it while everyone else was trading fire. Rick Ross, a long-standing target, gets dragged on the same track. And Mustard, the producer who built the beat for Not Like Us, catches a reference on Too Hard for the Radio, where Drake flips the West Coast sound that was used against him into a banger of his own and reminds everyone of their shared history before the fallout. The critical response landed somewhere nobody expected, genuinely mixed. Not a disaster, not a triumph. Rolling Stone called Maid of Honor Drake's strongest work since More Life, while saying Iceman felt overstuffed with rebuttals and arrived too late to change anything. Stereo Gum said the Kendrick lines don't land because the beef is already settled history, but acknowledged that the sheer ambition of 3 albums dropped simultaneously was hard to dismiss. Consequence of Sound called Iceman an unearned victory lap, saying Drake lacks the self-awareness the moment required, but also admitted that 2 of the 3 albums had genuine material worth returning to. Underneath all of it is a theory gaining momentum, that Drake dropped 3 albums at once to fulfill his remaining contractual obligations to Universal Music Group, the label he sued, the label that called him a loser in open court filings. If true, these could be his last releases as a major label artist, an independent Drake. No industry gatekeepers, no label politics, just music. Made on his own terms, distributed however he chooses. That prospect, more than anything on these 3 albums, might be the most interesting chapter still to come. Because here's the truth about what happened on May 15th, 2026. Drake was supposed to be finished. The narrative was written, the verdict was in. And instead of fading, he released 43 songs, broke streaming records, dissed half the industry by name, and forced everyone, fans, critics, enemies, to talk about him like it was 2016 again. Whether that's a comeback or a refusal to accept reality depends entirely on who you ask. But one thing is not up for debate. Drake is not going quietly, he never has. And if these really are his last albums under a major label, whatever comes next might be the most dangerous version of him yet.